I feel like it's, I don't know, it's been pretty out there. All right, I will check my email one last time, see if anyone's missing the link, and then we'll get started. Okay. If you're lying down, make yourself comfy. You can be in the shape of Shavasana, or you can have your knees bent. And if you're seated in your chair, make sure that your feet touch the ground so that you're not floating here. You want your feet on the ground. And oh, I will need my glasses. Just make yourself comfortable and give yourself a few breaths just to arrive right here, this moment for your practice. We'll do a visualization today. So you can close your eyes for that, or you can just allow a softer gaze. Try not to just be focused on something, but just allow the gaze to relax. And if it's comfortable, certainly allow your eyelids to close. We're taking an inner vacation, thinking about where we would like to go or would like to be if we could be there, and allow it to be a calming, beautiful, relaxing spot. And you may have been there before, or maybe you want to just make one up. Imagine all the details that feel good to you. What sensations and thoughts and feelings arise? And what's the temperature? Maybe there's a breeze, some beautiful trees or flowers, perhaps the ocean. Notice your breath, inhaling and exhaling easily and effortlessly. Soften your belly, allow your face to relax. See if you can just feel and sense your vacation spot. A few more breaths here. Maybe you have some sounds where you are. Maybe it's perfectly quiet in your vacation spot. You can release your visualization and bring your hands to touch in front of your heart. I'm grateful for those inner journeys. They're there for us if we choose to take them. And I have to remind myself often just to pause and allow daydreaming, visualization, even if just for a moment. And from your heart outward, let's send some love out into the world. You can send it to someone specific or a specific place. And release your hands. Blink your eyes open. Okay, move maybe a little bit closer. I feel like I'm 40 miles away. I want you to be able to see my feet though. Okay. All right. So if you're lying down, you're going to roll your head side to side. And if you're seated, you might like this movement, or you might like some half or full circles. There's plenty of time, so we're not rushing. We just had a fabulous vacation. Just slowly inviting some movement of the neck. As always in this class, and I would hope in any class, you can be perfectly still and just focus on your breathing. And that is the practice. That's yoga. So it doesn't matter if you're not doing the shapes. Notice your breath as we begin moving. We'll have a couple more breaths here. And you'll bring your head back to center. As we go to the shoulders, you can make some shoulder circles, or you might like to reach one arm up and then the other. You can go as high as you'd like. You can go all the way up if you want. I can't do that quite yet. Being exactly where you are. And again, there's time for both. Maybe some circles in each direction, and then maybe reaching the arm up. And you might try one shoulder and then the other. And what if you lifted both arms up? You can go all the way up to the sky, or if you're lying down, arms could reach up and over all the way to the floor behind you. Doesn't matter where they go, just what's feeling good. And we'll come back to center. Seated, we'll invite some movement, circling the torso, Sufi rolls. If you're lying down, I'll ask that you hug your knees in and circle your legs, holding one hand on each knee, circling the legs, because you'll also get some spinal movement from doing that. Or you could take windshield wipers if that felt better. Feet wide, knees bent, and let the legs go side to side. And a couple of choices, things we've done many, many times. I have a lot of favorites. Now we'll switch direction. If you're doing these Sufi rolls seated, notice your head and allow your head to kind of go with the flow, literally and figuratively. So if it's super rigid and stuck, that will affect all the way down the chain. So see if you can allow a little movement. You might like to switch direction a few more times. If you're hugging your knees in and making some circles, hold the legs together now. Make a few circles holding your legs together. And you'll bring yourself back to center, gentle twist. Lying down, you can draw your knees in and take a gentle twist, or feet on the ground and let your legs drop like we did on Tuesday, kind of a windshield wiper twist. Here you can experiment. I have my hand outside the leg. That's helpful. That's more of a passive twist and it feels great. If you want to work more the muscles of your torso, then you find the twist without the assistance of the arms. They're just la-di-da, not involved. Feel what you can feel. Let's take a deep in breath, filling up, and a gentle sigh out for your exhale. Come back to center and pause. Pause in the center before the second side. We'll take 2 full breaths here. And then second side twist. Again, you can use the arm or you can just twist using the muscles of the torso. See what you can find, hands free. Either way. Taking a few more breaths here, noticing the difference between the first rotation and this one. Full breath in, fill all the way up, and maybe a gentle sigh, open mouth, exhale. Coming back to center, pausing in the center. Let's take 3 breaths this time in the center. Lying down or seated, we'll come to one of my favorites, chi arms. So the arms float up and then back down. Very gentle movement, as if the arms are floating up and floating down. And you can link the movement with your breath, but you don't have to. The body is breathing and the arms are moving. And you may be going just like this, right in this neutral position. If you feel like it, you can let the arms go out to the side a little bit or on a diagonal. Feel free to experiment. Inhaling and exhaling, arms floating and releasing. Just a couple more. Last one. And bring your hands to clasp. You'll keep a space between there as if like a tennis ball could go between your palms. So not pressing the hands flat, but allowing a space. And then you're going to rotate. Same thing if you're lying down. This is just a little love for the wrists. It's called kissing snakes. We'll come a little bit closer so that you can see. It's just a rotation. And if you press the palms together and you try to go, then it's not so much. So space and ease and grace. And if you want, you can try switching direction. Sometimes the mind is like, no, I'm having one direction only. Okay, I thought I heard a crying dog. I'm hearing things. And last option, you might like to turn this into kind of a wave motion, very unpredictable and kind of flowing, and an 80s style dance move. The wrists really need a lot of love. We probably don't give them enough. And maybe switching direction. A little strange. And release. For thread the needle. On the ground, you'll take left leg on top. You can keep your right foot on your mat, or you can draw the legs in. For seated, we'll have left leg on the top, And then I'm going to scoot forward just a smidge. And you can stay up tall, or you could lean forward if you'd like. It's kind of the same feeling as if we were drawing the leg in. So left leg is on top, and we're feeling some sensation, outer left hip, thigh, buttock. Deep breaths here when we're in the hips. There's plenty of time to take some breaths seated tall and some leaning over. You could even allow the spine to round, spinal flexion, if that feels good. And then you can try a tiny bit. It's extension, not a back bend per se, but length and a hint of that beginning of a back bend. You may like to open your mouth for a few vocal exhales, make some sound, let go, let go, let go. A few more breaths here. Let's circle the left ankle a few times in each direction. And we can release side one. And the right leg will come on top, thread the needle, side two. If you're lying down, feel free to keep the left foot connected or draw the legs in, holding your shin or your thigh. And here seated, leaning forward or not, rounding the spine or not. There's so many possibilities. What feels good today? Maybe resting, just holding your heavy head up. Oh. Notice where your mind is. You connect to your breath and you invite, if you'd like, audible exhales, letting go. Taking a few more breaths here, but let's invite some circles with the right foot and ankle. Taking some in each direction. A nice ankle adjustment on this side. Okay, and we'll release. Same movement on the ground as in the chair. You'll take the legs a little wider and turn the feet out. And you're just going to lift your heels and lower, and then you can lift the front of the feet and lower. To back up a little bit. I don't know if you can see my feet very well. There we go. So the front part of the foot and then the heel, just back and forth. One more each way, heels and feet. And then you can come back together. And we will stand for 3 things. I'll give options if you're lying down or seated. We're going to stand and hover 1 foot. So you can certainly do that seated. If you're lying down, your knees are bent and you're lifting and hovering a foot. You can lower it as many times as you'd like. Okay, you don't have to lift it and hold it there for 3 days. So you're doing the one that feels good. And if you want your chair or your wall for extra balance, you can do that. If you're standing, find Tadasana. So head, rib cage, pelvis, and then we hover a foot. Just a tiny little lift, and we are already working on balance. Your standing leg, getting a lot of information. Make sure you're breathing. And we'll switch sides. Rooted through the standing leg, hovering the second leg. Oh, I'm definitely going to need a little assist here. So chair or wall, hovering. Couple more breaths. I didn't mention you can use your arms to help. Sorry. And release. All right. Now, this next one, you'll either be standing up or lying down. It's not going to work so much in the chair. You can use the width of your mat. My mat is just, I'm not going to pull it out yet. So let me get these things out of the way. So if you're standing on your mat, you'll take your feet about as wide as your mat. And you're going to allow yourself to teeter. And you can take a toe and touch, or you can let the leg float a little bit. On Halloween, we do zombie arms, or you could call them chi yoga arms. And you can move forward and backward. This is a really nice also balance and work for the leg. If you're lying down, I'm going to show just because it's a little bit weird. So you'll still have your feet as wide as the mat, and you're just going to lift and lift. So it's a little more than the hover. Lift and lift. It's more of a march, like a wide leg march. Don't fall over, but be willing to play and breathe fully, easily, and effortlessly. Couple more times, we'll make our way back to center. And feet will be back to neutral, a little bend in your knees, gentle twist. Let your arms be floppy, standing gentle twist. If you are lying down, you can do windshield wipers again, because that is a very gentle rotation in your spine. Adjust your feet accordingly and let the knees fall side to side. And your arms could go out in a T if you're lying down, or maybe even reach up and overhead. Gentle twist. Coming back to center. And we'll revisit one more time, chi arms. So I suppose you could take a seat if you're tired of standing. You can allow a little bend in your knees. Let your arms float up and down. Same movement if you're lying down, let your arms float up and down. And remember, they might decide to float out or on a diagonal. Let's do 3 more breaths. And we'll come down to the mat. You can move your chair out of the way. Have a couple of pillows handy. When you come down, I think I want to adjust the camera a little bit. Allow yourself to stretch out into Shavasana shape unless that's not a comfortable shape. You can bend your knees if it's better. Otherwise, just pause. We've done a lot of shapes and movement. Notice your breath. Maybe remember where you went on vacation. Imagine your whole body now, inhaling and exhaling. Feel some expansion and some surrender. And 3 more cycles of breath here. Whole body inhaling and exhaling. You can bend your knees. And we'll take supported bridge, having a cushion or a bolster, lifting your pelvis. Maybe taking the pillow out. Some days I want the pillow in and others not so much. Supported bridge, your feet can be on the ground. You may like to take them wide and let the knees fall together. You can also add your second cushion between the knees. If you'd like, you can take your legs up into the sky. Now, when I did that, I feel like my cushion is not quite right. So you come down, you adjust. Aha. That's what I would want you to do for yourself so that your practice feels good. No matter where you have your legs, decide now what you would like to have for your arms. Shavasana shape, or arms out in a T, or perhaps cactus arms. Earlier, I was talking about the twist being passive if you use the arms because you're giving yourself an assist, which is lovely. And if you twist without the arms, it's more active. So here, if you have your legs up, my feet are relaxed. It's active, right? To keep the legs up, you have to work a little bit. But if I were to make these sort of Barbie doll feet and work on straightening, not forcing it, but work on straightening the legs. So my feet look like they're stuck in a high heel. Suddenly, this is much more active. See what feels right. Maybe you take a few breaths here and then you go back to passive. I'm going to go back to passive for sure. And I'm actually going to add my arms for a moment. We'll spend maybe another minute or so here. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And let's take 5 more breaths wherever you are. Bring your arms and your legs back down. You can slide one leg out at a time or both legs out. You can reach your arms up and overhead or out in a T. Big stretch, not just the front body. Think also about the back body and the side body. So everything just taking up space. Big breath in. Maybe open your mouth, exhale. One more breath. Bending your knees and coming off the cushion. You'll have one cushion for each side, and we'll set up for Supta Baddha Konasana. Cushioning way up by your tush, right by your hip joint, so that the thighs feel very supported. Soles of the feet to touch. Add props if you want more support. That's a good thing. Now here, choices for the arms: Shavasana shape, T, cactus, or hands on the belly. I find this one very grounding and soothing. You can bring your awareness and your attention to abdominal breathing. So as you inhale and exhale, the belly will rise and fall, not by effort, just with your awareness. You may notice that gentle movement, rising and falling. And let your eyes and your face soften. Maybe close your eyes. Notice if your mind wandered and just bring it right back to your body, breathing. And you may decide to stay here in Supta Baddha Konasana for the remainder of class, or you can gently shift so that your pillows are underneath your thighs. Straighten your legs out. Maybe move your arms into the Shavasana shape, palms up or down. No more breath work, no more poses, just this rest, being instead of doing. Bring your awareness back to your breath. You can let each inhale get a little bit fuller than the one previous. Wiggle fingers and toes. If you'd like a full body stretch, reaching through the legs and the arms, maybe turning your head side to side a couple of times. And bending one knee and then the other and rolling onto your side into fetal pose. Just pausing and noticing how you feel after the practice. And bringing yourself up to sit. Bring your hands to touch in front of your heart. And maybe bow your head in. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing in the world. Thank you, yogis. Thank you for being here. Namaste.